Good day and welcome to Old Talk. I wanted to go over an old story from 2021 where Finance Minister Colmembert said that choosing between the IMF loan and the Chinese loan was a no-brainer. Now these loans were being offered as financial aid during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. The first most important question you had to ask here is why it is Trinidad and Tobago need financial aid. If the country is doing well, or the country was doing well at the point in time, why we need financial aid? Be that as it may, Imber ultimately say he gonna choose the Chinese loan and not the IMF loan. And this raises some questions. The Chinese loan was 2% and the IMF loan was 1 point something percent. Imber say that the Chinese loan was better because it didn't have the structural adjustments required by the IMF loan. The IMF loan was asking for adjustments to the amount of people in the public service to reduce that, to increase the cost of water and electricity, and all kind of other things. Now, why would the IMF say something like that? Why would the IMF want these kinds of structural adjustments to be done? Is it because the IMF believes Trinidad and Tobago cannot repay the loan if you have a bloated public service and subsidization of electricity and water? On the other hand, you have the Chinese loan at 2%, and he said that 15% of the loan have to be used on Chinese products or Chinese services, and that there are less structural adjustments that would affect people in the public sector, the price of electricity and the price of water. So that brings us to the next question. If the Chinese loan doesn't have these structural adjustments, are they concerned that TNT can pay back the loan? Now, for many of us who have been reading in the past few years, we see that Africa has been taking lots of Chinese loans and cannot pay them back. And what happens when you cannot pay back the Chinese loan? The Chinese take a piece of land, the Chinese take a piece of infrastructure, the Chinese take a piece of your country because the government that took the loan did not account for paying it back. So based on what the IMF was saying, it seems that TNT is unable to pay back its loans. The next aspect to think about is accountability. The differences between taking an IMF loan and a Chinese loan. With the IMF loan, I would imagine that there's a lot more paperwork you have to do accounting for where the money was spent, who authorized the spending of the money, and you have to provide that in paper for review. With the Chinese loan, again, what accountability is there? Because these deals are made in secret, we have no idea how much of the loan, the 85%, will actually be used for public infrastructure to better the lives of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, or if it is going into the hands of the politicians. Bubble, as they say. Is it easier to do bubble with a Chinese loan than an IMF loan? I certainly think so. This is the reason. This is the reason why the Chinese loan is a no-brainer, because you could conduct more bubble and you don't have to have any kind of accountability for how the money is being spent. Go and ask African nations who took Chinese loans. Go and ask them how it's working out for them. When they're losing their ports, when they're losing their land, when they're losing their industry. You really think them Chinese giving away money for free? Ask anybody who ever take a loan from the bank or from Island Finance or who owing. If you have a creditor and you're not able to pay back that creditor, you are accountable to the creditor. You become a slave to the creditor. Now, the benefit here for the TNT politicians is they are not the slaves. They are not the ones who have to repay. It's you, the taxpayer, who getting the bill. Imagine this. You're going out to dinner with Keith Rowley and the Chinese ambassador. Keith Rowley say, yeah, we go order your food. The Chinese ambassador eat her food, Keith Rowley eat her food, but your food never come. And guess what? Down the line is you had to pay for the food eaten by Keith Rowley and the Chinese ambassador. And you again nothing. That is how it does work.